Hello and a warm welcome to TVC News, our top stories. CCM pledges a new dawn for tobacco farmers. Tanzania has resolved farmer-pastoralist conflicts exemplary. Good evening, I am Teddy Imparanyanga. You can also follow us live via YouTube channel TBC Online and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook and X pages at TBC Online. Presidential candidate for Chama cha Mapinduzi CCM, Samia Suluhu Hassan, vows upon re-election to ensure clearance of all due payments of the Utui tobacco farmers in the Tabora region who have been following up on their unsettled payment from the companies that buy the crop. Samia made the promise in the Tabora region as her party continued to solicit votes in various areas of the region, including Uyui, Urambo, and Kaliua. Here's a report by Halfan Binde, read by Faithan Gaga.
The CCM presidential candidate, Samia Suluhu Hassan, is in the Tabora region for the second day. And this time, she held campaign rallies in Uyui, Urambo, and Kaliua. In Kaliua, she vows to ensure clearance all long-term payments to tobacco farmers.
Wakulima wa tumbaku wenye madai ya siku nyingi. Lakini kabla niseme madai, niwapongeze sana na niwashukuru.
Tobacco farmers with long-standing claims. I commend and thank the tobacco farmers. Through the fertilizers and input we provide, you have increased tobacco production, and Tanzania is now selling tobacco at a large scale. Therefore, I highly commend you. But let me assure you that the government is still in discussions with some companies that will pay the farmers money.
In Urambo, apart from addressing the pending payments, she promises to introduce new tobacco curing technology.
Wito wangu wana Urambo na wana Tabora kwa ujumla, kupunguza kukata miti.
My appeal to the people of Urambo and Tabora in general is to reduce tree cutting. I have been there and seen how trees are being cut. Therefore, let us adopt new technologies and reduce deforestation.
In Sambato Kaliua Stadium, she addresses the residents of Kaliua, pledging fulfillment of all plans outlined in the party's manifesto.
Ninawaomba sana wana Kaliua, kila aliyejiandikisha kwenye daftari la kupiga kura.
I sincerely urge the people of Kaliua, everyone who has registered in the voters' roll, to turn out in large numbers, just as you have turned out today, and vote for CCM so that we can implement what we have promised. You have all witnessed how in the past we have implemented all that we promised in the past 5 years, and in the future we shall implement all the promises.
The CCM presidential candidate, Samia Suluhu Hassan, is expected to conclude her campaigns in the Tabora region tomorrow, heading for Kigoma region. Faithan Gaga, TBC News.
The government of Tanzania has made significant strides in resolving long-standing conflicts between farmers and pastoralists in various regions of the country. Speaking to TBC News, the Morogoro Regional Commissioner, Adam Malima, said these disputes, which have often led to tensions and clashes over land use, have now been successfully addressed through a series of mediation efforts led by the government. Commissioner Malima also emphasizes that dialogue and mutual understanding were key to achieving lasting peace between the two groups. Caroline Maleo has more details.
Across Tanzania's rural heartlands, the land is life. It feeds families, drives the economy, and sustains traditions. But here, where farmers till the soil and pastoralists move with their heads, land has also been a source of tension and sometimes violent conflicts.
Kwa hali ya nyuma na ilikuwa ni hali ni hatarishi.
In the past, the situation was very dangerous because people often fought aimlessly as farmers and pastoralists encroached on each other's lands. We could not even sit at the same table to share a meal between a farmer and a pastoralist.
Clashes between farmers and pastoralists have been recorded in many parts of Tanzania, including Shinyanga, Kiteto, Kilosa, Rufiji, and others, often sparked by the competition for land, water, and grazing routes.
You don't apportion where, for example, the pastoralist should be, and the farmers, they will always lead into crash. But it has been also facilitated by the climatical changes, where you find the things are not as they used to be.
With population growth, climate change, and land scarcity, these conflicts intensified. But the question was, how could Tanzania turn confrontations into coexistence? The government and communities began seeking lasting solutions. One approach has been the participatory land use, clear planning, mapping village lands, allocating areas for farming, grazing, and settlement. Over 18,000 villages across Tanzania are in this process, reducing clashes before they start.
Nashukuru sana uongozi wa mama Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania Samia Suluhu Hassan kwa kupitia wawakilishi wake mkuu wa wilaya.
I am deeply grateful to the leadership of the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, through her representatives, the Regional Commissioner and the District Commissioner. We've benefited from the Tutunzane campaign, which have helped resolve the conflicts that once divided us, farmers and pastoralists.
Tanzania has also embraced mediation through elders and local leaders, supported by law enforcement whenever needed. Civil society groups and faith-based organizations run peace dialogues, reminding both sides that land should unite and not divide.
Pata mafanikio makubwa kwa sababu tumeshiriki kwenye mjadala na.
We have achieved great success because we engaged in dialogue between farmers and pastoralists, helping them understand that this conflict serves no one's interests and that they will benefit more by living in peace.
These local solutions are part of a global vision, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 16, which calls for peace, justice, and strong institutions. While SDG goal number 2, Zero Hunger, recognizes that food security depends on harmony over land. Tanzania's approach also aligns with the African Union's Agenda 2063, which envisions a peaceful and a prosperous continent. By turning conflict into dialogue, Tanzania contributes not just to national unity, but to regional and global peace-building goals. From conflict to coexistence, Tanzania is showing that even the deepest divides can be healed, all through dialogue, planning, and community will. In doing so, it offers lessons far beyond its borders that peace is possible. And that is, where the land is life, unity must be the harvest that feeds all. Caroline Maleo, TBC News.
High Court of Tanzania Dodoma Main Registry has ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to provide an opportunity as soon as possible for ACT Wazalendo presidential candidate Luhaga Mpina to submit forms and contest for the position. The decision was reached today in Dodoma by a panel of 3 judges led by Judge Kagomba, where the court ordered INEC, after receiving the forms, to continue with the selection process, which ended on 26th and 27th of August this year.
Mahakama kwenye maelezo yake imesema kwamba suala la kunyimwa kurejesha fomu.
In its statement, the court said that denying the submission of the nomination form to INEC is unconstitutional. Therefore, it has directed that the process should continue from where it was left off. Following this, INEC will write to ACT Wazalendo to provide the procedure on how Mpina's form will be received.
Tume ya uchaguzi kama nilivyosema kwamba ilituzuia.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has stopped us from submitting our forms, even though they were correctly filled out and followed all party procedures. I am pleased that the court has now ordered us to submit these forms, and we will do so immediately.
Chama cha ACT Wazalendo sio chama kinachofanya kazi kwa mizaha.
ACT Wazalendo is a party that follows its guidelines and has done everything possible to ensure it nominates the best presidential candidate.
UK Ambassador to Tanzania, Mariana Young, says the Manufacturing Africa study shows that Tanzania is in the midst of industrial transformation that will open up opportunities for an additional income of up to $11.7 billion per year, as well as creating more than 25,000 jobs. Presenting the report in Dar es Salaam at a meeting involving Tanzanian top chief executives, Ambassador Young insisted that the report has identified 14 opportunities that have significant effect to the investment in 11 types of minerals, including gold, graphite, rare earths, nickel, copper, cobalt, limestone, and phosphate.
And I was very excited to be able to share the findings of the report tonight with key leaders in the private sector across a whole range of industries, as it's absolutely vital that the government joins hands with the private sector to help develop these opportunities and find ways of bringing beneficiation back into Tanzania and ensuring that some of these key minerals are not just taken out of the ground and exported without value being added here in country.
On the other hand, the chairman of the CEO Roundtable of Tanzania, David Tarimo, underscores the importance of Tanzania selling value-added minerals to achieve inclusive economic growth, while the acting commissioner for minerals from the Ministry of Minerals, Terence Ngole, says they are closely working with the private sector to reduce the sale of raw minerals.
Tumepata presentation ya Manufacturing Africa.
We listened a presentation from Manufacturing Africa, this year's report, which looked at the position of various African countries, including Tanzania, and how they can carry out value addition in the mining sector.
Taarifa hii ni taarifa ambayo imebainisha na kuainisha maeneo ambayo nchi yetu ikiwekeza.
This report has highlighted the areas where our country can reap significant benefits if it invests, particularly in the field of critical minerals. Therefore, the Roundtable has played an important role by bringing together the government and private sector to discuss and come up with a common understanding.
African heads of state are in agreement on the need to move from rhetoric to action in the face of climate change ahead of the 2025 United Nations Climate Change Conference COP30 meeting expected to be held later this year in Belém, Brazil. The call has been made during the just-ended Second African Climate Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, outlining ambitious climate action and a roadmap for the continent's development. Here are more details.
Officially opening the summit, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed implored partners to replace aid with investment, casting Africa as a driver of solutions and the next global climate economy. Representing President Emmerson Mnangagwa, the Minister of Environment, Climate and Wildlife, Dr. Evelyn Ndlovu, presented Zimbabwe's statement outlining some of the key issues Africa needs to address as it has for the 2025 United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP30, set for Brazil in November.
At this pivotal summit, I welcome our commitment to unlocking sustainable climate finance, the anticipated new collective qualified goal on climate finance, and the Loss and Damage Fund to offer a new opportunity for redressing the underfunded of our projects that we have in each country.
Also in attendance, Geopomona West Management Chief Executive Officer Dr. Delish Ngwaya spoke on how they have fared in converting waste into energy through climate-friendly innovations.
We must not be seen as Africans as victims of climate change, but must be seen as solution provider for the issue of climate change. I'm happy that Geopomona was participating, presenting also the country of Zimbabwe. I visited one of the first Africa waste energy plant here in Ethiopia. It's Geopomona, and hope that we are leading in Southern Africa. By doing so, we are demonstrating how waste can be managed.
A report published at the summit this Monday has shown that while Africa needs at least $70 billion per year to adapt to the effects of the climate crisis, only $15 billion has been provided by developed nations since 2023. Climate experts are convinced without urgent action to address this vast financing gap, Africa's future costs from climate impact will continue to grow, wiping out a fifth of GDP by 2050.
Ambassador of Ethiopia to Tanzania, Fikadu Ayana, says despite Africa being a least contributor to greenhouse emissions, it has been the worst victim of climate change. Speaking to TBC News on the just-ended Second Africa Climate Summit, Ambassador Ayana insists common ground and unity among African countries to be the only sustainable solution to the problem.
Africa, despite its least global greenhouse emission, which is less than 4%, Africa is a victimized continent when it comes to the climate change. It is severely affected. So for Africa, it is time to come together and to take common position. So far, Africa's attention was on working on the recipient side of receiving money because they are affected by climate summit. Now it is a reverse. Africa is coming up with its own solutions.
He furthermore stresses on the need for African countries to revert to climate investments from climate aid, terming Tanzania's clean cooking energy agenda exemplary.
In many ways, but we have to revert to that. We have to revert from climate aid to climate investment. Over the last 3 days, different African countries have come up with several African solutions. For example, in our case, over the last 7 years, Ethiopia has planted 45 billion trees. This initiative is called the Green Legacy Initiative. There are other African countries who come up with several solutions to mitigate, adapt the climate change, like the Tanzanian case is a good example. The clean cooking energy, in terms of energy, this is innovative solution.
Retired Ambassador Brigadier General Francis Mdolwa says Tanzanians must safeguard the country's enduring peace, a legacy built by the nation's founding father, Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere. He made the remarks while speaking to TBC News, emphasizing that as the country is in the election period, citizens must not allow anything to disrupt the peace that has defined the nation for decades. Ambassador Mdolwa stresses that safeguarding unity and harmony is a collective responsibility, urging every Tanzanian to stand firm against division and uphold the values of peace, unity, and togetherness that continue to guide the nation forward.
It is very important for the country to be peaceful, because you cannot develop a country when there is fighting, misunderstanding, tribes not put together. You can't go to the office where everybody is doing individual. It was working individual. You need to cooperate. Cooperation is about peace. You can't cooperate if there's no peace. So for our development, we need the country to be peaceful. Mwalimu allowed the military to go to war with Uganda because Idi Amin was trying to disturb our country, draw it to war, and make it forget about developing the country by cooperating among themselves. So Mwalimu had to fight to bring peace in this country, and he did. And of course, we lost a lot in terms of finances, but we gained after a short time because our people are together, working together. There are leaders now in districts, regions, and of course the government who are not talking about peace. And this is dangerous. It is very dangerous. We want this country to be peaceful so that we can do development.
We first keep our unit because if we are at war, we are at loggerheads, we can't have a common way of working together. And the work is a serious element of economic development, economic growth. At the end of the day, it speaks about emancipating a human person. And these are the things we fought for. And these are the things, if we speak in a spiritual term, these are the things which glorify us, that we needed to come out of these shackles of pain and all this and become a people who are well equipped with the sense of knowledge, equipped with the understanding of our environments and how to use our environments to our great advantage. So peace will bring that unity. But also, peace will make us we will strengthen our relationship and friendship with our neighbors and the other people. We will be seen as a good people to run to, a good people to call, to speak to. So we will be a solace to others.
With general elections fast approaching, political parties in Tanzania are laying out their manifestos, outlining priorities on the key areas like economy, education, health and security. But beyond domestic policy, a crucial area often seems to be underemphasized in campaign rallies is diplomacy. What do the manifestos reveal about each party intends to position on the country on the global stage? TBC News spoke to political analyst Novatus Segosha, who shared the following insight.
The Vienna Convention of 1961 continues to be the foundational pillar of diplomatic engagement. While it doesn't directly involve into internal affairs and politics of any country, Article 41 continues to remind our diplomatic actors, especially high commissioners, ambassadors, and other diplomatic officials, not to intervene directly into the domestic affairs of a sovereign state, but they should only give guidance in matters that concern diplomatic engagement. However, they are required to observe regulations and laws of the receiving state. However, democracy is not only an ideal of one country, it is the fabric and currency of international institutions which conduct and observe the affairs of the nation states in our world. Now, if you check the political manifestos of different parties, for example, CCM, which is the ruling party, it speaks about infrastructure, continue of macroeconomic stability, continue to engage civic justice and the rest of institutions. When you check Actu Wazalendo, it speaks about internal cohesion and, of course, multi-ethnic inclusivity of our nation. At the end of the day, these manifestos, one way or the other, reflect what our country needs to do in this general election, because whether they are competing manifestos or they have one perspective, it's a country which is going to do the most constitutional ideal or universal suffrage of our citizens. So in other words, if you think that diplomacy and politics are completely separated, no. That's why we have international instruments, that's why we have domestic laws, and that's why we have diplomatic relations between our country and the rest of the world.
The director of the International Initiative for Pediatrics and Nutrition, IPAN, Dr. Elena Ladas, calls on medical practitioners across the country to strengthen partnerships, particularly in research and raising awareness on the importance of integrating traditional and modern medicine, given the crucial role it plays in healthcare. In an exclusive interview with GBC News, Dr. Ladas emphasizes the need for training and capacity building among traditional medicine providers, academicians, doctors, and nurses. She explains that this approach will help them better understand how to incorporate nutrition and integrative medicine into the treatment of various diseases, including childhood cancers.
National Initiative for Pediatrics and Nutrition is based out of Columbia University in New York City. And it was started by recognizing there was a global need to improve the nutritional care of children with cancer and other chronic diseases, particularly in resource-limited settings. So we took our template that is implemented at our hospitals, in Columbia and around, to the global community, of course, adapting to local needs. In Tanzania, I first came here in 2014, and I, had the opportunity to meet many, many fabulous clinicians, providing nutritional care, but at the same time, we also recognized that there was a need. And through subsequent conversations in 2021, we established IPAN in several institutions around the country. And it's been really a wonderful experience for, I think, both groups.
So, Doctor, how does IPAN support the nutrition of children here in Tanzania?
For children with cancer, treatment is often for several years. And so there's a lot of side effects that come with that. Nutrition is a way to help minimize those side effects. And by using local foods, by training clinicians, by advancing education opportunities, we're really reducing suffering. But our research has shown that we also can improve survival by about 30% by remediating poor nutrition status.
Tell us a bit more about traditional medicine as a whole. When somebody hears about traditional medicine, they get a certain picture, especially here in Africa, but how would you define it?
Traditional medicine are those therapies that are not often provided in routine medical centers. So they could be things like herbal remedies, things such as yoga, different massage therapies, things that are not offered routinely, but some do have evidence that they support different types of side effects, particularly from treatment from cancer. So we are working to advance that initiative, and there's many things going on in Tanzania that are especially important.
Tell us a bit more about the partnerships now that IPAN has established here in Tanzania.
So IPAN has partnerships with 51 institutions in 21 countries. Within Tanzania, we have 3 partnerships established in different cities and regions, in Mwanza, Dar es Salaam, and Kilimanjaro. And we are rapidly expanding. Our vision is really to ensure that every medical center in Tanzania has the opportunity to collaborate with us and help improve the care for children with cancer and other chronic diseases.
What is your call now to the health fraternity, to the medical practitioners and stakeholders with regards to integrative or traditional medicine?
Thank you for this. Is an important question. I think the call to action now is really to let's keep conversations going and let's start new collaborations and to advance this field further. I think there's a lot of work that we can do collaboratively, including traditional medicine providers, including academicians, doctors, nurses, the entire group of medical field to, understand how we can use both nutrition and traditional medicine to advance care for children with cancer and other chronic disease.
The Assistant Director of Tanzania Vocation Education Training from the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Dr. Eric Mgaya, says Tanzanian government is committed to enhance skills and professional knowledge of young Tanzanians so as to upscale their career in line with Tanzania's Development Vision DERA 2050. Dr. Eric Mgaya made the remarks during the climax and celebration of the 23 years of Managers in Training program organized by Kilombero Sugar Company with collaboration of Tanzania's government through the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology.
The government safety has the national skill development strategy.
when you go for the National Skill Development Strategy, actually, we want to have a skilled labor in our country, specifically for youth. We have a different number of sectors, like mining, tourism, construction, etc. All we need skilled labor. So training institutions themselves, they can't produce skilled labor without collaborating with industry. So what the Kilombero Sugar Company is doing actually is a very good example. As I said before, they are setting a standard. If other industry can at least copy even half what Kilombero Sugar Company is doing, as a country we are going to have a very better working force than what we have now.
On the other hand, Director of Human Resources at Kilombero Sugar Company, Diana Mwakitwange, explains how successful the program has been and the plan to recruit more Tanzanians, especially young people, in the program, while some beneficiaries of the program for the year 2025 share the commitments of utilizing all knowledge gained during their program sessions.
The program has run for 23 years up until now, and we have managed to, there are 85 candidates who went through this program, and some of them have remained with us. Some of them have gone to other sectors or in other companies in Tanzania.
The program of MIT, as I normally pass through different sections like land preparation section, irrigation, crop removal, where we are being encountered with different technologies. So in my career growth, I'm being built in terms of technical leadership, but also in terms of management.
We cover the business overview, we cover the leadership perspective, we cover the technical side of it. So as a human being, you are required to have all those things to make sure that you become a person who is sellable and you can be a person who can improve whatever is coming into your society.
And that is all we have for tonight. Do not miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I am Teri Mparinyenga. Have a lovely, lovely night.